We are wrapping up our college football coverage here on College Football Now by Chat Sports. But here's the deal. If you want us to do even more college football content, you got to subscribe to the channel. Let's send a message to our bosses that we want to be your college football headquarters here on College Football Now. Subscribe now for free. If we get 20 subs off today's video, I promise you we have plenty more college football content we'll get to this week. Deliver, we'll make it happen. Transfer portal season is here and in full effect. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us on College Football Now. We have a look at the top 25 players currently in the college football transfer portal, and these things are always changing. But here's where we stand right now. Let's begin with Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. The former number one overall recruit from the 2022 recruiting class, has an NIL value of around $503,000. And the thing to watch for with Walter Nolan, although the numbers aren't necessarily that flashy from what he did this past year at Texas A&M, this is the thing about potential, right? Walter Nolan, Texas A&M, was not a very good team, was not a system necessarily set up for him to succeed at a high level, but the flashes are there. Wherever Walter Nolan's going to go next, you better believe that he's going to be a star and has the potential to one day be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Number 2 on our list is Cameron Ward, quarterback from Washington State. The Cougs without a conference next year, and now they lose their top quarterback as well. Cam Ward, before he was at Washington State, was actually at Incarnate Word and was the Southland Offensive Player of the Year. His NIL value racks in about $629,000. And with Cam Ward, kind of like what we talked about with Walter Nolan, a lot of potential here. You see his numbers this past season, 25 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. With the right scheme fit, we could be potentially talking about Cam Ward next year as a Heisman contender with the talent that he brings to the table. Number 3, Dillon Gabriel, quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners. OU going to move forward with Jackson Arnold as their next quarterback. Gabriel with a very successful 2 years in Norman, was at UCF before that, and he'll have plenty of suitors to his disposal for the first team all Big 12 quarterback who threw for 30 touchdowns this past season, 6 interceptions, and not to mention helped lead the Sooners over a big win over their arch rivals, the Texas Longhorns, in the Red River Shootout earlier this year. Producer Coop was there and loved every minute of it. Number 4, Will Howard from the Kansas State Wildcats. Will Howard being replaced by a young quarterback in Avery Johnson in Manhattan, Kansas, with the second team All Big 12 selection this past year and a lot of experience over the years with the Kansas State Wildcats, helping them go to and win a Big 12 title a season ago. This past year, threw for 24 touchdowns. Did turn the ball over a little bit more than we would have liked to see with 10 interceptions for Kansas State this year. Also on the list, rounding out our top 5, is Riley Leonard, quarterback from Duke. Leonard, there was a lot of hype about him early in the season as he was, at one point, looked as the number 3 quarterback in this upcoming draft class by Mel Kiper Jr. Had the big win over Clemson to open up the season on that Monday Night Football game, but with some injuries, his season really went downhill. But a lot of potential with Riley Leonard as well, and that draft potential. Maybe we're talking about him being the first quarterback off the board next year if he can stay healthy, and he'll have plenty of suitors. Already some speculation about schools like Notre Dame and Auburn, just to name a few. Who's the best quarterback in the portal? It's our pen comment today. Is it Cam Ward, type C, Will Howard, type W, Dillon Gabriel, type D, Riley Leonard, type R? Let us know who you think that is in the comment section below. Some other names to get to. Number 6 on our list is Marcus Carroll, running back from Georgia State. We go to the offensive line at number 7. Monroe Mills fills this spot. Interesting name to some. Number 8 on the list, we find Juice Wells, a wide receiver from South Carolina, holding on to that spot. And then at tight end, number 9 on our list, Justin Jolly from UConn. Number 10, Philip Dunham, the safety from Indiana, ends up on that spot here, rounding out the top 10. More names to get to here in just a second, but first, let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Here's how Prize Picks works. You choose 2 or more players on any given category. You get the choice of more or less. And there's all sorts of categories to choose from passing yards to touchdowns, receiving yards, fantasy points, and you can mix and match from different sports. I'm going with a little Monday Night Football action tonight. I got Jake Browning to have less than 218.5 passing yards, while Travis Etienne I have getting more than 67.5 rush yards. Let's say I put $20 down on this. If both these hit, I could take home $60, and you can too at PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. That's PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS to play along with us today. Number 11 on the list is Ethan Miner, the interior offensive lineman from the great University of North Texas. Number 12, we find Kyle McCord, former 5-star quarterback at Ohio State, part of a mass exodus within the Ohio State Buckeye program as 12-plus players are already in the portal from Ohio State. And although McCord was a third-team All-Big Ten selection, there wasn't a lot of excitement about Kyle McCord and his performance with the Ohio State Buckeyes this year. He was getting to play with Maserati Marv, but at times he looked like Kyle Honda McCord driving the car there for the Ohio State offense. And McCord this past season threw for 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That offense, even with all that talent there, really couldn't reach their ceiling. So McCord might need that fresh start somewhere else. Where do you think he ultimately ends up? Got to think that McCord's still going to have plenty of suitors out there. Predict it for him in the comments section where you think Kyle McCord is going to go. Number 13 on our list is tight end from Maryland, Corey Dyke with this spot. Then number 14 we find with this selection is R.J. Oben, the edge rusher from Duke. At number 15 from Vanderbilt, wide receiver London Humphreys is that spot. One of a number of players from Vandy that are very high in the portal rankings, which might surprise some folks. Number 16 is Colin Lacey, the wide receiver from South Alabama, USA, America's team. And then at number 17, our old friend DJU is back in the portal for the second straight year. Began his career with the Clemson Tigers, former 5-star, number 1 player, had a lot of hype coming out, was supposed to be all that in a bag of chips, and really just never was on the same page with Dabo and played to his full potential. Goes to Oregon State this year, rather, and the Beavers had a very good season. DJU started to find his own and showed some improvement with 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. The completion percentage, not great, though, 57.1%. He moves on from Oregon State after his head coach, Jonathan Smith, goes to Michigan State and Oregon State without a conference next year at this point in time. Where do you think DJU should end up? Where would be a good fit to bring in the Oregon State quarterback? Chat in the comments section. Tell us where you think he would go. Number 18 on our list, another Vandy wide receiver. That is Will Shepard taking that spot. Number 19, another quarterback. That is Brock Vandegrift, who was a highly touted quarterback going to the Georgia Bulldogs. Ultimately, that job went to Carson Beck, and so Vandegrift, who thought he was going to compete for that starting job, gets beat out. Now he's looking for a new home. Number 20 is Joey Slackman from the University of Pennsylvania, the defensive lineman. Our final 5 in the transfer portal tracker, we begin with number 21, the interior lineman from Western Kentucky, Vincent Murphy. Number 22 from New Mexico, DJ Wingfield. And then number 23, Tyler Van Dyke, quarterback from Miami. Now, with Van Dyke, this was a guy that had a lot of hype at one point in time. PFF named him the best quarterback in college football in the month of September. A lot of things changed after that. Van Dyke, some had a first-round grade, but then things started to go downhill in the second half of the season. He finished up with 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, over 2,700 yards passing, about a 66% completion percentage, former five-star quarterback, and might be a product of the system of maybe not getting to his full potential, as Miami hasn't had the best track record over the most recent years when it comes to developing quarterbacks. Rounding out our top 25, final two players include Chris Mitchell, wide receiver from Florida International, and the last player on our list at number 25, Quintavious Leslie, the interior offensive lineman from Western Kentucky. So there you have it. That is the transfer portal. Now we wait and see where they end up. As we get more updates from the transfer portal, we'll tell you all about it. This is the place to be. Subscribe now. We got you covered right here on College Football Now by Chat Sports.